All right, let's go. Trying to get out to the big road as quickly as I can, safely as I can, so that we got decent reception. We're not going to have the reconnection issues. Good morning. You guys want to hang out? You guys want to hang out for a bit? Think about questions you want to give me. Hopefully this rain does well for the things that I've planted. Let's see, some of this stuff organized on my dashboard. Like an arborvitae. Been trying to keep my eye out at like, give me a piece so that I can start cropping. Oh, I better make sure I get all my wallet stuff with me. Alright, I'm good. How are you doing this morning? You had your coffee yet? Morning drink, whether it be tea or... Just a couple more minutes and we'll be out to the big road, and then I'm going to start talking about what's going on my farm, my homestead there. So if you just give me a minute, we got all kinds to talk about. I'm almost there. Another 2 minutes. So while you guys are waiting, if you haven't already checked out my Patreon page, over there I do Bible studies, Bible devotionals. I skipped yesterday's live, and I'll explain that in just a second. I was busy planting a bunch of stuff. But another thing that I wanted to try, I know I have a $1 a month membership over on my Patreon page, and I thought about doing like a Picture Pals membership tier, just that $1 a month. I'll upload all the pictures I take, the progress that we're making, stuff I don't usually show in the shorts that I put out. If anybody's interested in that, let me know. Oh, found a pothole. So now that we're out to the big road, yesterday's short would have informed you of a little bit of what's going on, but I've got see if I can get the numbers right. I've got 15 Autumn Joy Sedum cuttings that I did last year that are starting to grow this year. Really nice. Then I've got 72 cells of red columbine seeded. I've got, I think I counted 5 apple tree cuttings, 2 of which are already showing green growth. I think there's 7 lilac cuttings. They're purple lilacs. So hopefully those will grow up, root, all that good stuff. But I also planted 5 different types of bush type beans. I seeded, let's see, 3 trays of small trays, like 4 cell tray. 3 of those trays are snap peas. And then we've got red peppers, yellow peppers, orange peppers. We seeded watermelon. And I think that as we progress through the season, as things grow, that Picture Pals membership that I'm going to put together today would just be a simple way for people to get something special and support, you know, what I'm doing here. Good morning, Colin McFarland. Good morning. Are you growing anything in your garden this year? I've been super excited for weeks for things to start growing in the garden. Still waiting on the hostas to pop up. That might be another week or 2. I do have forsythia cuttings from, was it last year? I took cuttings. Daylilies, those are already popping up. Those are 1 inch to 3 inches tall. But I really want to start kind of pushing the Picture Pals membership tier over on Patreon. If anybody wants to go check out, see what's already there, there's a link to my Patreon in the channel description. If you wonder what I'm trying to do with all this, check out the description in the channel description. You know, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And, you know, the lesson that I've been learning through all of this is patience. This farming and gardening stuff takes patience. So I'll set up the Picture Pals membership tier. Like I said, sometime either this morning or this afternoon, upload a few pictures, maybe more than a few. I've also taken pictures of stuff that I've got to get off the property. There's a bunch of, you know, scrap metal and junk that needs to be removed, taken care of. Let's see, I'm doing an experiment. The mother plant of the Autumn Joy Sedum that's on the property, the one I've taken all my cuttings from, there was a flower head still on it early this spring. So I cut the head off, tried to get as much seed heads and flower heads off, and I just planted that whole mess in a container to see if, you know, I can get a variety of Autumn Joy Sedum. That's the one experimental thing that I'm doing, just to see if it's possible. Probably not going to get wood chips today, so there may not be a stream this afternoon. I don't know if it's supposed to rain all day. I didn't check the weather because I thought it was supposed to be nice. But it is raining right now. Looking out here across the river, it looks like there's some white-tipped waves out there. So like the wind and the rain and all that pushing the water around. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, double tap the screen. We may do a short of some sort this afternoon. We've still got more seeds to plant, mostly the food, edible plants, corn and, well, it's chives, but it's something to plant that's an edible. I've got a little bit of soil mixed up, so we should be able to plant at least something. I'd like to successively plant certain things, all the different stuff that I planted yesterday, and probably weekly increments, maybe out every other week. I'd like to be planting more of the beans just so we have plenty of beans. Like I said, 5 different types. Let's see if I can remember it. Navy, pinto, garbanzo, black beans, and can't remember the 5th one. The ones I'm really excited about, though, are the peppers and the lilac cuttings, the apple tree cuttings. Let's see if I can get this up to cruising speed and cruise control. I got the heat pushing through here, though. Man, it's warm. Hopefully some folks went over and checked out the Patreon. I noticed just after I mentioned that, my numbers dropped. They usually do after the first 10 minutes or so. But, it's the time of the year where I've got to focus a little bit more on the garden, the farm, the homestead. That's why I use those hashtags. Trying to get some of my farming friends out there to get interested in what I'm doing here. It's mostly a vlog. I do the audio podcast Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings, but the rest of the content is mostly video. Sometimes I stream at the wood chip pile. Any day that I do stream at the wood chip pile, there's definitely going to be a short showing the progress that we're making. It's starting to look really good. Now that we're covering the circle down at the end of the driveway, that big spot from yesterday's short is going to be like a flower garden. There's not going to be any edible food there. But I did notice when I was taking chips out of the truck that there was at least a handful of worms, and I was telling my wife, because of the compost, the material's already partially broken down, the worms are going to love that. And I think it's like every 90 days a worm will produce 90 eggs. I can't remember the exact number, but there's going to be plenty of worms in that flower bed. Possibly put the hostas there. That's really close to the house. We've also got some house plants that I want to pot up. I've got some aloe vera that's separated that needs to be potted up as soon as it starts to have some decent roots on it. My grandmother has a different type of aloe. I'm not sure if it's actually aloe vera or a different. Thank you. Sorry about that, everybody. Just talking about the farm and what's going on. Some of the pictures that I'm taking of the property, the homestead. That's just a way for people that are interested in helping to do so at $1 a month. I'm really excited to see if any of the red columbine are going to grow. Like I said, I've got 72 cells seeded quite heavily. My big plant for the last 2 years, trying to make as many of it as I can. Those are mostly going to be my mother plants. The one plant that's actually growing great, and the 15 that are going to grow, I'm sure, pretty decently. take cuttings from all those, next year I'll have, I'd say probably a good amount of autumn joy sedum, which is a stone crop. I'm sure if you Google it, you'll see what it looks like. It starts off as like a pink flower, and then as the season progresses, the color gets darker, and then in the fall, when it starts to die back, it turns almost a brown colored flower. Like I said, I hope this rain doesn't last all day. I'm gonna miss out on a day. My son and his fiance are supposed to be coming up and getting married, and if I can't get wood chips today, there's gonna have to be a day where I go get 2 loads. You want to help me get a load at some point? $10. I'm not begging for money. I'm just saying if you guys want to help, that's one way to help. Riding around without your headlights on and your wipers are going. That's illegal. The thing that in Maine, there's a law that says if your wipers are going, your lights have to be on, your headlights. A lot of vehicles, because they're automatic headlights based on light sensors, the lights don't turn on unless it's dark or getting dark. But during the day, if it's raining and your wipers are going, you have to manually still turn your headlights on. Anyway, so wow, they built a new building back there. Neat. So if you're not aware, I was stating earlier in the stream, in the show, that my goal, I don't know if I actually stated it this way, but the goal of what I'm doing here is to vlog the journey, right? But also to build an intentional community of like-minded people who want to expand on the idea of a nursery, a greenhouse situation. You know, the products that I produce and possibly sell shouldn't be going more than 100 miles away. And the return on investment with plants compared to anything else, even stocks get like, at best, like 10% return per year, where, you know, you can buy a plant or a 72 count of plants, 72, let me try that again, 72 count tray of plants, and say you've got $1 in each. In a year and a half, that plant's going to be worth $10. So that's a 10x, that's 1,000% increase instead of a 10% increase like stocks. And yeah, you're not guaranteed to sell the plants, but you're not guaranteed to make 10% off your stocks. So I think plants are the better way to go. I can keep an eye on them. They're physical. I had an old timer tell me many years ago, and I'm only just getting to the point where I realized what he was talking about. People in the community, we called him the professor because he was pretty smart compared to the rest of us anyways. But he told me and a bunch of other people, you know, because he was an early morning old timer. By the time lunchtime came around, you couldn't find him anywhere. But he would tell people, put your money in trees. That's where the money's at, is trees, plants. Learn how to, you know, make more of these things. because it's basically a money glitch, right? You take one plant, you propagate it. In 2 years, you can propagate it again, especially with like hostas. That's why I have 15 to 18 Patriot hostas, because I keep dividing them and propagating more of them. And eventually I will sell, you know, hostas alongside the Autumn Joy Sedum. And there's another vehicle with wipers going, no headlights on. Like, bro, it's dangerous, especially with the color of vehicles nowadays. They all blend in with the road. Like, so what's everybody interested in? What do you do for work? Where are you from? Trying to get some people to comment. Do you know what growing zone you're in? What hardiness zone you're in, I should say? I'm in zone 4B. If you guys are interested, there's a Patreon page, link to it in my channel description. We do Bible studies, Bible devotionals. When I have time, we do a live Bible study on Sundays. Yesterday was a little exception because I was getting some stuff planted. If you guys are interested, I'd like to set up the $1 a month tier as a Picture Pals membership, where you get access to a lot of the pictures that I take of the farm and the progress. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. I'm going to be setting that up sometime this morning or this afternoon. Not sure how work's going to go, but again, the link to my Patreon page is in my channel description if that interests you. I'm on the lookout for potentially some more plants to add to the farm, the nursery, whatever you want to call it. If you guys want to check out, yesterday I put out 2 YouTube shorts. One being where we put the wood chips yesterday, and another one showing some of the plants or the seeds that I planted yesterday. We're also, with the bush type beans, we're going to be successively planting every week or every other week. We're going to be planting more. We're going to have a lot of beans. Good morning, everyone. Decent numbers this late in the ride. 7 people. Good morning, everyone. How is your garden today? looking at, by the end of the summer, I'd like to have at least some money put away, first and foremost, for heating budget for the winter, but also looking at getting some kind of a greenhouse so that, late this year we'll be able to extend the season into the fall, but to be able to start things next spring, somewhere to store plants overwinter them in a greenhouse. Most of the stuff overwinters pretty decent. A lot of joy sedum overwinters, the daylilies overwinter, the hostas overwinter just outside. Be able to start, things from seed earlier in the year. In the nursery business, the farm business, we have to keep a really close eye on the weather. And unfortunately today it's raining, and I don't know how long it's going to be, or how long it's going to be raining. This road's usually quiet for a Monday, and today is no exception. It's definitely quiet. Really hopeful about the apple tree cuttings, though. I'd like to plant those down back on the 10 acres that my grandmother has, because we haven't quite cleared enough trees up on the 2 acres to really give them a chance to survive. Same with the lilacs. I think the lilacs are going to be planted pretty close to the house, just so I can maintain them. These first 7 are going to be like the mother plants that I take cuttings from. Seven should turn into 70 come next year. Depends on how many cuttings I get from each. But I'm going to let them pretty much grow all through the summer. And then probably take cuttings probably after the August heat wave that we usually get. Last year was pretty bad. We had a drought. But with how many wood chips we're bringing onto the property, we shouldn't really have to worry about drought. Wood chips will hold 10 times their weight in water. Feels like I'm a little early, but still got a few miles to go too until I get to the bathroom. fact, I'll probably stop at the Salmon Club down here. Not the Salmon Club, I can't even remember what it's called. Because all of a sudden, I mean, I used the bathroom before I left, and I gotta go again. It's awful. Yeah, I'm not making it to Circle K. I only had 1 cup of coffee. Ooh. I've seen 2 windows. That's the beginning of my greenhouse, I think. Some windows on the south-facing wall of whatever structure I build, I think would do us quite well. Yeah, I'm not making it to Circle K. Oh, I gotta stop here and use the bathroom. Yeah, Salmon Club. Bumpy getting down in here, but definitely wasn't making it to Circle K. Is it locked? No. All right. Yeah, hopefully, because it's raining, nobody's gonna grab the windows that I've seen. I've seen 2 so far. Am I gonna make it? Yeah, I made it. Nice. But yeah, the greenhouse would be great. Great improvement on the property. Now I don't have to stop at Circle K. But I got a bus to deal with. Great. I tried. I really tried. Try to beat this bus every day, and I can't time it right, because if I leave too early, I've got to deal with buses. It's impossible. Yeah, so far I've seen 2 windows that are free. Trying to keep an eye out for other stuff. bet if I hadn't stopped to use the bathroom, I would have been ahead of this bus. Pothole. Usually I miss that one. Another one right there. I'm gonna miss that one though. Goodness. Bunch of trees with white tape on them. Not tape, but strips of white plastic. It's weird. Oh, maybe this isn't the same bus. Because normally they stop a couple times between where I caught up to them and get into town. Good morning, YouTube. Guess those folks weren't that interested. It says, spring into God's Word. Thank you, Twin City Baptist Church. Somebody backing into their driveway. Good on you, brother. That's the way you're supposed to do it. Oh boy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We open that window. Go on, you can make it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go, people, go, people. Go, 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 people, go. It's a green light. What am I on my brakes for if it's a green light? Boy, their wipers are just a-going without their headlights on. Good job. Aw. Not gonna make the light. Gonna be wet today. I can already tell. Maybe someday I'll be selling plants at Tiller and Rye right here in Brewer. They're I don't know what you'd call it, like an organic grocer or whatever. But they sell, locally produced goods and some, big box store stuff like compost and mulch. State Trooper 400. Another one without their headlights on, running their wipers. Nice. WRX with a carbon fiber hood. I didn't even look to see if he had a spoiler. No spoiler. I'm trying to keep it clean. Another fellow with a Comanche. I got a buddy that owns one of them. Let's see how many cars are in the lot. How many cars are in the lot? Not a whole lot. Yeah, maybe one for me. I'm gonna try and squeeze in that spot by the dumpster. Oh, plenty of room, plenty of room. Oh, somebody left the dumpster lid open. Might have been me. See if anybody saw him last minute here. Oh, I need that. This one is going in my pocket to charge Snap-on battery. And then this one to charge my laptop. Cord sticking out everywhere. And then battery. And it is time to end the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching, commenting, anybody that checked out the Patreon page. We will see you guys the next time, either wood chip pile or Wednesday morning.